Hey, what's up, boys? I met this girl, right, while I was on vacation with my family. We were at this wellness resort and there was this Brazilian Japanese girl. I'm telling you, man, I love my Eurasians. I have a problem. Let's call her A, alright? I was in this stupid fucking foam pit. Well, actually, I was sitting outside with my parents at first. My sister was in the stupid fucking foam pit. And A was in the foam pit as well. Autistically, I periodically stared at her from a distance like an absolute retard. And I hated that about myself. But I used the excuse that, oh, this is my last day here, so there's no point in trying to pursue anything anyway. I should just wait this out. But deep down, I knew that it was just another time that I was going to let an opportunity fly away without even trying to put myself in a more favorable position. And something clicked. What the fuck am I doing? I can't just sit here thinking in circles, distracting myself from what I really wanted to do. If I'm afraid last minute, sure, but at least put myself in a better position. I'm gonna walk back into that foam pit. I say foam pit, but it was more like a dance floor that was filled with foam. So in my head, I gave myself the excuse of, oh, I'm checking on my sister, to give myself a better chance of speaking to her. Now, boys, if you know me in real life, I'm not a terribly socially anxious man. I carry myself pretty well, I promise. I can speak to women perfectly fine with composure and flirt and shit. But only if the setting is a deliberate date or she initiates the flirtatiousness, then I'm completely fine. However, when it comes to speaking to men and women with the sole intention that I'm interested in them as a person, like I want to get to know them better, then it becomes suddenly terrifying. Then that is uncrossed waters, I can't do that shit. So I had to make up an excuse in my head that fits social expectations within the environment, alright? I walked one big circle around the foam pit and kind of dumped some foam on her head, and she was so cute, man. She kind of like stuck her head out and like willingly received the foam. I smiled at her and then I walked back to my sister. Alright, I made my attempt, okay? It may be a little bit autistic, but at least I did something that kind of showed deliberate interest, right? In my head, it was just like, alright, the seed has been planted, boys. I did something, now what? And soon enough, in like 2 minutes, she came all the way around over to me and slapped the foam back onto my head. And we went back and forth for a little while. The memory is kind of blurry, but the next thing I remember is, I jumped into the foam with my full body because I thought it was that funny at that point, okay? And when I stood up, I couldn't see anything because the foam was in my eyes and I was being fucking retarded. Then I felt a towel wipe the foam off my eyes, and let me tell you, boys. You know how you kind of put a towel around your neck? Yeah, she wiped it off like this, right? So you know what that would mean, boys? That means the proximities is so close. You know what I'm saying? I swear I'm not this fucking simpy or overreactive when it comes to other women, but let me tell you this one. And I opened my eyes and I saw the most beautiful smile I've ever seen. Anyways, I'm down bad as fuck, and for the next few days I was in pain. I had to leave the place the next morning and I didn't get her Instagram or her number or anything like that. I just didn't dare to. I didn't want to ruin the imagination, the possible dream. And it's like, afterwards I was thinking about, where the hell do we go from here? How the hell do I replicate that feeling? I wish I could throw away everything I had to go and find that feeling again, or go back to that place. I was thinking, right after this I have to go back to my country, go back to serving the military, be under the fucking restrictive jurisdiction of my parents. Like, even right now they keep trying to open my damn door. It just sucks because after feeling something so liberating like that infatuation feeling, I had to just go back to daily life, being trapped in my parents' home where every choice I make is criticized, controlled and observed. Going back to a lifestyle I consider very mundane and sad, because honestly I don't have much people that I resonate with around me. And I wanted adventure, I want risk, I want to make my own decisions. And I was about to return to that life I hate. As we speak, I'm in the life I hate right now, by the way. And I'm not trying to say anything changed or I somehow made a great choice that brought me back to the dream life. I'm pissed off and I'm terribly sad. The imagination of feeling that liberating feeling again just kind of blinds you, It's really such a beautiful feeling. So in this video, I'll be discussing heartbreak, especially, when you didn't actually get with the girl, she didn't fucking cheat on you or anything like that. more on heartache from the imagination of a future that won't exist, or deep infatuation that you have no control over. Honestly, these feelings can sometimes be an escape that we hold on to, because it's easier to hold on to that pain than focusing on doing what we can right now and focusing on what's next. And sometimes we want to hold on to that pain because it helps us feel closer to that liberating feeling. It helps us feel closer to her. Honestly, I kind of wish that I could hold on to the heartbreak and let it fuel me, I wish she rejected me, or it's something painful, so I could go into my whole revenge arc, my whole winter arc. I'm gonna better myself and become more competent and sexy and get more jacked. But none of those things were relevant to why nothing happened from that infatuation. So I couldn't even leverage those negative emotions to become a better version of myself. She's just a wonderful human being. There's nothing to hate, or there's nothing to find. After that whole event, right, I came to the conclusion on how important it is to become independent, because I realized I don't have that confidence because of many reasons. And I don't dare to speak to strangers if I don't have a deliberate reason for it, because of many reasons as well that I suddenly recalled after looking more into myself. I realized that your fear of speaking to strangers unless you have a deliberate reason, something to use as a scapegoat, for me was due to having a very overreactive, emotionally volatile upbringing. The people around me would react very harshly if I did something out of pure interest and made a mistake, or when when my sister was younger and I would be playful because I'm a dude, right? Maybe I'll kick her over, or maybe I would be too much of a bother, and then suddenly everybody would retract their love from me. It's scary, and that fear probably carried into my adulthood. As much as I like to question the whole assumption that past events shape who we are now. That's the philosophy that Freudian kind of pioneered, and there's many other ways to consider it. And I realized one of the big reasons why my confidence is so fragile and keeps coming and going is because I have no trust in my own capability. I read this article on overreactive parents. If you tell your parents about something you've done or something that you're about to face and they start crying in front of you, then you start to doubt your own ability to face that situation. And that happens a lot while we grow up, because our parents over-identify with our situation. So we develop a lot of self-doubt over the years, especially if your parents do indeed overreact to things, or even take your responsibilities into their own hands. That could fuck a lot of your confidence up. And you'll always be doubtful, especially when the overreaction comes from someone whose opinion you value the most, which are your parents. It just scares you, it fills you with doubt, so you definitely will lack confidence. And now our only solution to that is to prove to ourselves that we have the competence and capability to, cope with actual hardship. And I wonder how much hardship we need in order to find out that we are actually competent. Then we can finally feel like we deserve confidence, because otherwise we can't help but be retrospective and think, do I really get to be confident? As much as I would like to develop it, who am I to have it, right? I've achieved nothing substantial yet compared to the rest of the world. Who are we to be confident and walk around with our chest up and speak to whoever we want? And that will always be in the back of our heads, no matter how much resilience we develop against it. So this whole situation really just made me dial down on what I find to be one of my biggest weaknesses that I never really took a huge note of, which is my independence and what is limiting my confidence from becoming more robust. If I want to have that confidence, and I want to feel like I deserve things, and I want to feel like people would positively react to me, even though I have plenty of evidence that people positively react to me, like I'm generally well respected, it's just an observable fact. I'm not being arrogant here. I still lack robust confidence. It keeps fluctuating all over the fucking place. And taking note of these constraints that I have really kind of untied some knots in my system. I felt myself feel more whole. Like, I know what's going on now, so now I can focus on that and relax in that direction a little bit. There's this quote, but I'm probably gonna botch it, so don't quote me. There is someone out there with half your talent but 5 times your self-belief, getting 3 times the result. So if we want these opportunities for ourselves, for me, especially social opportunities, I'm going to have to really dial down on my independence and my confidence. I'm really going to have to dig deep and find out what's making my self-esteem so fragile, my self-worth. And I gotta actively work against it by suppressing retarded thoughts that come up, that I have evaluated and find to be useless. If you're anything like me, you're not someone who can delude yourself with ego. It just doesn't work. I've tried to fake it till I make it for a very, very long time. It just makes me feel fucking retarded. Like, do I really have to do this? So I'm gonna hold on to the idea that I need to prove to myself that I'm capable in order to hold on to the hopeful future that, you know, I'll feel capable enough in my own skin, whereby I have trust that I can find my way out of situations and become a more grounded and confident person. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to seek less approval, if not try my best to take absolutely no approval from my parents. Before making a decision, I'm not even going to tell them what it is, unless of course it's very important and involves their money. Then of course, you know, be responsible. I'm gonna do the things I need to do and I find to be important, even if they disagree with it. That's what I'm going to have to do. And that's not to say I'm ungrateful for my parents or anything like that. It's just because if I want to gain their respect and develop my own capability and eventually be someone I can be comfortable with being, so that I can have more social opportunities, this is incredibly important to me and, in my opinion, absolutely necessary. I need to make this forcible change. Of course, it's not an absolute to be an extrovert in order to get your social opportunities, you know. But having confidence does increase that chance when you're actually in the thick of it, everybody knows. But having confidence when you have an opportunity definitely increases the chance that you're going to connect with that person. Having consistent confidence and self-worth, the belief that I deserve things, is just something I really desire, but I'm also really afraid of. And therefore, I must conquer it. You know, I don't want to spend my future thinking about what ifs. I've already wasted enough time. I like to think that even though I'm already 21, there's a lot to learn and a lot of adventure waiting ahead of us. It's hard to enjoy these years without constantly thinking about how it's going to end soon. You know, I'm sure when I'm fucking 45 or 50, I'll trade everything I have to come back to this age. But right now, it just doesn't seem as colorful as it would seem in a few years. You know, I don't know how to balance that sense of urgency that, you know, we're running out of time to make it, and the feeling of just, I gotta enjoy my 20s while I'm in here, right? I gotta feel the moment and feel what it's like to be emotional about everything. You know, enjoy my youthful desires and my excitement. Honestly, being rich when I'm 40 doesn't mean shit to me. Being able to live the life I finally dream of when I'm old is just something I have no desire for. If I'm being completely honest, I don't give a shit about that. You know, material things probably only have value now. Like, who cares if a 50-year-old has a Rolex, right? Okay, I'm kind of babbling here, but at the end of the day, heartbreak's a heartbreak. There's no pressure for you to turn into a complete different human being. You know, sit with it. It's a youthful, beautiful, fundamental feeling. It's honestly a gift. Like, and holding on to the heartbreak helps me feel closer to her, helps me feel more hopeful about a liberating future. If it isn't your fault, there is no reason to let it affect your character. Just feel the emotion. Sometimes nothing needs to be done. Sometimes changing doesn't mean it will change the outcome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my focus back onto my goals and head toward a dream of a future where I'll be independent, capable, and surrounded by the people I genuinely resonate with. And hopefully soon I'll have a robust level of self-worth and confidence to understand that, you know, I deserve to be happy as well. I deserve to get what I work for. And after heartbreak doesn't mean we have to punish ourselves with isolation, or we have to lock in, or we have to stop speaking to people or become more cold and dismissive to people because we are afraid they take their love away from us, or they hold very fragile affection for us, so the second we fuck up, they're just going to disappear from our lives. We don't have to live like that, in fear that people will all run away from us, because the truth is that's not going to happen. Sometimes I would just dive deeper into the heartache feeling so that I could feel a bit closer to her, honestly. I just want to see that smile again. in the most autistic way. And then after a bit of self-pity, I'll just jump back into it. I'll bring my focus back. I'm going to speak to more people. I'm going to see what I can do with the time I have. We got this. I love you. Good luck. To better work.